It is so simple. What has happened is awareness, which is a natural phenomenon, has expanded for all of creation and taken us humans along with it. So all that is necessary now for liberation, for the end of struggle, for the end of our suffering, is essentially just to be real. There's no technique involved. There's no lessons to memorize. There's no nothing. It is just that simple. And there's 12 facets of sattva. Sattva means goodness, harmony. Ultimately, it means love, that are available to us. Awareness has expanded. It's not about to expand, it has expanded. We are in expanded awareness now. There's a subtler level available to all of us. There's no teachers needed. There's no special techniques. There's no retreats to go on. It is just here. The thing about awareness is it's like right in front of us all the time. It always has been, right? So we are now able to take advantage of it just by knowing a few simple things. And I've written this book all in and discovered that there are 12 facets of sattva that are available. Sattva is a Sanskrit word for purity, for harmony, for wholeness. And if we touch upon these facets, these are arbitrary facets. There are infinite other facets. These are ones that I've discovered in my 56 years of meditation. And they begin with willingness. We have to be willing to start anything. And willingness is actually fearlessness. It means being willing to change. It means being willing to go to in uncharted territory. But all this is all part of who we are already. There's nothing to be added on to us. It's already available to us. It's who we are. It's in our heart. And to find these facets of goodness it brings us up to speed with awareness, with the expanded awareness. Willingness opens us up to being accepting, to being more open of who we are, of expanding our heart, allowing things to be just as they are without the mind interceding and wanting to change our lives, wanting to change anything. So we become completely transparent in a sense. We become totally accepting of nature. Nature is a great teacher for us. And we become less inhibited, and we become more essentially of who we are, which is the goal of the 12 facets. It's like we already are who we are, except we use our minds to deflect who we are. We try to please people. Essentially we become who we are not. And this who we are notness becomes opacity. It becomes a protective sort of armor around us, which is where most people are these days. We are trying to please people. We are not acting in accord with nature. And as such, we live dishonest lives. We become subject to the human condition, which means we are acting rather than being. We're not being ourselves anymore. So to be ourselves, we need to be willing, we need to be open, and as a result, we become transparent. And this transparency is actually a great relief for us, because where we once were hidden and constricted and holding back and not daring to be this way or that way, we now are happier. We are suffering less because we are not trying to be who we are not. Okay? And so, as such, we let go of our resentments. We let go of people pleasing. We let go of all the attributes which we had created, which the mind had created, that we thought we needed to survive, which we don't. In a sense, we become like natural. We become like a stone in the river. We become like the river itself, right? And life becomes this flow. We are like the wind. We are like the water. We are like the earth. We are not pretending to be anything but who we are. And as such, there's so much more available to us. The next facet that we experience can experience is forgiveness. We can forgive ourselves for what we were, for the old being that we were in the old way of life, where we were so constricted. And for having forgiven ourselves, essentially, we are accepting of the reality of who we are. Acceptance is really the key to everything. And once we accept and don't want to change because of the whims of society and what our neighbors will think of us, we become so much more happy, essentially, because we're not carrying this load of being what we think we should be. We're being what we are. We have let go of the past. This is the new awareness. This is what awareness is showing us. And essentially, it's showing us what I call a sober life, not in the terms of sober in terms of like AA, although that's part of it. It's a spiritual sobriety. It is being honest, as we said. It is being open, as we said. It is being forgiving of who we were. Who we were in the past is the old age. It's gone now. Living a new life. And for this, we are grateful. This is the next facet, is gratitude. We are totally grateful for what essentially God has given us. Every opportunity to be more real, more of who we are. And this brings us to even subtler levels of the heart. Something that is the most natural attribute that we have is kindness. This brings us to kindness. We are grateful for what we have been given. And so we have the opportunity to be kind. not to be pleasing for people, to people, but to be genuinely living from the heart, to be loving. And a deeper level of kindness is compassion. And compassion lets us come out of ourselves. It lets us expand beyond who we thought we were. Thought is the biggest obstruction. It's like we are living naturally now. We are grateful for our new life. And so we are able to expand ourselves to the size of the universe, to beyond the universe even. Awareness is infinite. We are essentially infinite beings. We just need to know this. The new level of awareness is supporting all these facets. And the bottom line is, next is we become sober. And it's a wide range of sobriety, not only sobriety from, alcohol use or various addictions, of which there are infinite. It is a knowing what is true and what is not. It is having the internal compass that exists within each of us, right? We have an internal compass. We all know what is right and what is wrong. And what sattva, what expanded awareness is telling us now is it is showing us very clearly, more clearly than ever before, what is right and what is wrong. We feel it intuitively, we feel it intrinsically, we feel it in our bodies. No, this is wrong. So don't do it. It's that simple. And beyond sobriety comes the wonderful realm of gratitude, of being grateful for life as it is. It's so precious. The life we are given to live is not something that we should take lightly. Life is precious. Life is sacred. Life essentially is divine. And we are grateful for this. And being grateful for this allows us to be naturally much more of who we are. And essentially, we are kind human beings. Once we get out of our ego and once we are connected to the rest of humanity, to everyone else, and we see that everyone is an aspect of who we are naturally kind. This is what this new awareness is all about. There's no pretenses. We're not living our old life. We're not living for other people. We're not trying to be something we are not. We are much, much lighter human beings than we ever were. We're transparent. We're open. And this turns into moments of bliss. This is what it's all about. This is what finding God is. It is a place where everything is accepted. We are being exactly who we were born to be. We're being kind. We're being compassionate. We're being caring. And we are totally, like Vasishta, beings of total, as light as air. And this is really not essentially a goal that we need to try to get to. It is just who we are. It is like we go inside ourselves and we look at these attributes of sattva and they're all there. It's already who we are. And we just need to be who we are. And being who we are is the end of suffering. These things are all inside us. That the world is nothing but constant distraction. The exterior world, the relative world, the material world is constantly pulling our awareness outside of us, right? We all know that, there's endless distractions. And that's what drives everybody crazy. That's what creates what is going, a world like it is now, where there is just completely out of control, right? Because it is just one total distraction after another. And there's nothing outside us that is permanent. There's nothing that is sacred, that is whole, that is unchanging. Everything outside us is just an illusion. And we have so many illusions we're living now that we don't even know really which way is up. And to have a moral compass, to have any sort of sanity, you have to go within. It's all inside us. It's just being inside us, being who we are. Everybody has tumultuous inner monologue. And that is because we are captured by the intellect, we are captured by the world outside us, we're captured by infinite amounts of distractions, right? I mean, there's now more distractions than ever for everybody. And essentially, we need to shut that out. That's why I say, close the eyes, inside, contact who we are, look at who we are. It's very, very simple. And it's not like the inner dialogue won't go away, but if we focus, if we put our attention on these 12 facets, these 12 simple attributes of who we are, any one of them, being kind, we suffer less. Being all in is the learning experience, right? It's just like putting our attention, our awareness on these things that eventually become part of our behavior, our outside behavior, right? In the most subtlest way of looking at it, there is no difference really between what's outside us and what's inside. It's all, infinite awareness. But we, as the world has changed, we become so enamored of everything that is outside us that we forget what's inside us. It took me 56 years of meditation to be able to sort of isolate this whole idea that we are already all these different things. We're not excluding anything. We're accepting of everything, right? And then, we become as natural as a plant, as a flower, as, a tree. The tree doesn't have to think about being a tree. It doesn't need to think, well, I'm going to grow and I'm going to have some leaves over here and I'm going to have some flowers over here and I'm going to produce apples. It just does it, and it's that natural that we want to become. Discernment is a big part of this. We know the difference between right and wrong. A tree doesn't need to know the difference between right and wrong. A tree acts naturally. The more natural we are, the more open we are, the more transparent we are, the more kind we become, the more forgiving we are, the more caring we become. All these facets just happen naturally. That's the idea here. It's not like a lesson in thinking about, well, how can I be kinder? We are capable of every possible type of behavior. We have the facets of everything. We have light facets, we have dark facets. That's why what we put our attention on is so important. That's the key. This book, All In, is putting our attention on good things. They're not the only good things. I don't have a copyright on these are the only good things. It is just a way that I've found of being that can take us there. We put our attention on positive aspects. The negative aspects don't exist anymore. And that's why all these facets start out from being almost intellectual. Willingness is like, okay, I have to actually consciously say, I'm going to be willing to look inside myself, to be all in, right? But where we end up is becoming more and more transparent. And being more and more transparent means we are not, in our minds, we are not trying to contrive a life. We are not trying to create war or not create war. We are just being our treeness, our naturalness. It's very difficult to explain this to the intellect. That's why if these facets are written in a certain order and they take us to being more and more invisible, to being less a human being in a sense and more like a tree, to being more natural. And then there's no problem. Then we're happy. We let go of all these concepts of the mind. We have let go of the insanity of the relative world and become accepting of, like a tree. If the sun is going across the sky, the leaves naturally move toward the sun. They don't worry about like it's going to be dark at night, Night comes and the leaves fold in and they put up with the cold. And then the next morning the sun comes up and they go, okay. We are transitioning from Kali Yuga, the age of ignorance, 1,000,000 years of ignorance, to Sat Yuga. Sat, same root as sattva, wholeness, harmony, goodness, purity. We are now in that age. Well, we're transitioning into the age. So there is some of the ignorance of the past age of Kali Yuga still available, still around. And that's what we're seeing now. It's called Lesha Vidya in Sanskrit. Lesha Vidya are the remains of ignorance, the remains of the last age. And it seems that now it's the ignorance is heightening. It's like it's got its back to the wall. It's fighting like to keep itself alive, putting our attention on purity and on these facets that already exist within us eliminates suffering. We don't suffer anymore if we're happy. If we're open, if we're transparent, if we're honest, if we're all of these facets and many others that are not described, we are happy. We are not suffering. We are no longer at war with ourselves. I think we're done here. You can't go beyond it. It's because the mind will keep creating other questions. And, the mind, at some point, we sink from our mind into our heart. And in our heart, we find these facets of ourselves, this kindness, this caring. We expand beyond our old limited ego self that caused all the trouble. No more trouble. There's no more trouble here. Don't come up with any more questions. Don't try to create any trouble. It's all bliss in the end, That's the reality. It's just that there's so much effort you know, the mind spends to obscure happiness, obscure. The trees are totally happy. They believe me, they are. I talk to them. That's why I love going up to Montgomery Woods. You know, it's just like, holy shit, they're happy. You know, and you can just be happy. You can feel it, right? You can put your hand on the bark of this 350-foot human being or non-human being, right? And it's just like, holy shit, this is happy. You know, this is what it's all about, right?